Imagine packing up everything you own in one night and heading out into the unknown. That's exactly what happened after the Passover meal. The Israelites were ready to leave Egypt, and God himself led them. But how do you guide 2 to 3 million people? With a megaphone, road signs? Nope. God led them with a pillar of fire at night and a cloud during the day. That's how they moved for the next 40 years. Think about that. 40 years of visible, undeniable guidance. But here's the bigger picture. God didn't just save them from Egypt, he saved them for something greater. Just like he doesn't just save us from sin and hell, he saves us to become more like Christ. And then they came to the Red Sea. No boats, no bridges, just water in front of them and an army behind. And then God did something unimaginable. A powerful wind blew and the waters split like 2 giant walls held up by invisible hands. The Israelites walked across on dry ground. Now, some people say maybe it wasn't really a sea, just a shallow marsh. Okay, but then how did the entire Egyptian army drown in a marsh? If that's the case, isn't it an even bigger miracle that weeds and grass took out an entire army? Not long after, they ran into another problem, no water. Then they found some water, but it was bitter. They called the place Mara, meaning bitter. But then God told them to throw a tree into the water, and it became sweet. Do you see the connection? Jesus, who died on a tree, can turn even our most bitter moments into something sweet. With him, even in the middle of pain, there can be joy and peace. Next problem, food. How do you feed millions of people in a desert? God rained down something called manna, which literally means, what is it? It was like tiny wafers, sweet like honey, and it sustained them for 40 years. In John 6, Jesus says, I am the bread of life. Just like that manna sustained the Israelites, Jesus says he is our source of life. If we rely on him daily, we'll have everything we need to make it through. And one more thing, they ran out of water again. This time God told Moses to strike a rock, and out came water. And that rock, it's a picture of Jesus. Paul later wrote in 1 Corinthians 10 that Christ is our rock, the one who gives us living water. When we're drained, struggling and discouraged, Jesus is our source of life. So do you see it? These weren't just random stories. They paint a picture of our spiritual journey. God leads us. He provides for us. He turns bitterness into sweetness. He sustains us. He is our rock. And here's the challenge. Are you trusting him? Not just for rescue, but for your everyday walk. Jesus is still leading, still providing, still giving life. Will you trust him today?